Good morning. Uh, so I apologize for not posting something in the past couple weeks. I've been busy. I work. Uh, so Sunday is usually my only free time to do this. But I wanted to focus this posting on something I breezed over in a previous post. My stay with this group, the 12 Tribes, which is a religious community, like a commune. And like I said, most people would call it a cult, but it is. So I moved into this group when I was approximately 22 years old, and I spent 22 years of my life there, which my family and I just left the group in 2016, in February. So yeah, a lot of people had a lot of different misconceptions or ideas of what groups like this are all about. So for reference, the group is called the 12 Tribes, and they have cafes and restaurants called the Yellow Deli that are in different parts of the world. I live in Colorado, so they have one in Boulder. They have one in Manitou Springs, I believe. So yeah, I was going to college to be an architect at Syracuse University. And I was doing good, making good grades. I spent half a year in Italy. And I was researching society and cities and how people live together and what makes a society what it is. And I was deeply interested in that. So when I'll skip past the details, but when the life of the 12 Tribes was presented to me at the time, it was very appealing because it was based on the teachings of Jesus Christ, who they call Yeshua. And it was supposedly a life based on love and caring for each other, which is clearly not. When I first moved in, it was sincere and genuine, and very non-religious, and it was, I would say back in 1993 when I moved in, it was it was very genuine and sincere, and people did care for each other, and there wasn't this huge authoritarian overlook over everything, which it is now, and which is why I left with my family. So yeah, I saw in my 22 years of staying there, I had 3 beautiful daughters. I met my wife, who I'm not married to anymore. I saw this life devolve, mainly because of religion, authority, mistrust, fear, which is, and I think it's kind of inevitable with groups like this. They start out very idealistic and genuine, and they devolve into something that's based on rules, on very strict rules, and over authoritarian overseeing, and mistrust, fear. Yeah. So anything but love. And I would advise anyone, and of course there's all the sensational stuff like child abuse that people choose to focus on, but that's all very subjective, depending on whoever the specific person or the parent that might be living there. Um, so yeah, um, what I what I experienced was this group devolved into religion. They have public, they have gatherings where they worship Jesus twice a day, 7 days a week. Um, yeah, and everything is very strict and controlled. So, if my recommendation, if anyone sees this and they're interested in joining the 12 tribes, that if you like religion and control, that's the place for you. And yes, you do have to give up all your own possessions, like Jesus Christ said. I'm not disagreeing with that. But it's like I said in previous videos. If Jesus Christ was alive on this earth, he would have nothing to do with organized religion or groups like this, where there's authority structures and elders have meetings and all this crap. Yeah, I'm not claiming to know exactly what Jesus Christ was all about. I'm personally not a Christian. I believe now that Jesus was a prophet, along with Buddha, along with Plato, Socrates. Yeah. So, that's my spiel. The whole experience, I'm not bitter about what I experienced. It was 22 years of learning, and it was valuable to me to see what happens when people live together communally. What I mean by communally is that there's like 20 or 30 people living in a house together with children. Families have their own room. Their children might have like a room off to the side of the main room. But yeah, that's what the communal living that I refer to. And they do share their finances. The workers don't get paid because their needs are met. What else was I gonna say? I think just in general, I think when the group started to be more religious and focus on these ceremonies of worship, which is another thing. I really don't understand the whole thing of worship. Churches, church gatherings, like, why does God need to be worshiped? I don't think I ever understood that. And in the group, at these gatherings that they have twice a day, 7 days a week, so just let you guys know that they take these gatherings extremely seriously, to the point where if you don't show up to a gathering, you're basically cut off from the group. So at these gatherings, they sing to Jesus and dance for Jesus, and supposedly share from their hearts. And that's evidently called freedom of speech or whatever. Most of it is just scripted off the founder's teachings. Albert Spriggs, who passed away 2021, I believe, from COVID. But yeah, he wrote all the teachings. So all the gatherings are just reciting what they get, what people get from the teachings, from his teachings. Again, I have nothing against him. I have no bitterness. I learned, again, I'll emphasize, I learned a lot about religion. I learned a lot about society, what happens when people come together and live together. The Pilgrims experienced the same thing. They tried, when they first came to this country, they shared all things in common and they lived communally, but eventually they saw that it wasn't working out. There was injustices that happened. I mean, in an ideal world, it would be great if people could live that way. If religion wasn't involved and people were generally caring for one another and loving one another and taking care of each other and not relying on elders and authority to make decisions for the sake of the group, which is another emphasis of the group. Authority is a very strong focus on the group. Authority, which I understand to a degree, but there needs to be order in group settings like that, but because there has to be some kind of order and control, otherwise people it becomes a mess when people live together like that in a communal setting. History has always testified to that. So yeah, here I am in Colorado, enjoying a beautiful day. It's starting to get cold, but I just wanted to share that with people. And again, to anybody who's still in that group that might watch this, or anyone in general, I'm not bitter about my experience at all. And it was a learning experience. And you're free to continue on with your communal experiment. But the word might come out someday that the experiment's over. So this is my post maybe for the week. So good to see you guys again.